I haven't had non-Chinese brands on my channel for a pretty long time, but today this Mazda EZ-60 impressed me by its equipment and of course price. I hope it will impress you as well. As usually, we have in-depth review of the technical specification of the equipment and trim levels, and of course we will perform the test drive today.
Make prolific confessions into the master plan. I feel like they will never let me shine. What do you need to say that feels so grand? Why is yours so much better than mine? I gotta wait in line for you to...
The car is built on the Changan EPA1 platform, which is also used for SL03, for Changan SL07, SL09, which is quite huge SUV, and even the G318, which is an off-roader. The carb weight of hybrid car is 2050 kilos, of EV car is 2180 kilos. The length of the car is 4.85 meters, the wheelbase is 3002 millimeters, which is bigger than, for example, BYD Song L DMI, which we just shooted on our channel. And unfortunately, we don't have here any zinc coating. Any of the steel part of this car, and most of the outside and inside parts are made of steel, doesn't have zinc coating, but this huge fender with the deflector is actually made of plastic. Both hybrid and EV versions has exactly same electric motor mounted on the rear axle. This is the motor with power output of 190 kilowatts, which is 258 horsepower, with maximum torque of 290 Newton meters, which allows this car to accelerate from 0 to 100 in about 7.5 seconds. Here we have the charging port, and in all hybrid versions it's exactly the same, with fast charging and slow charging AC, single phase AC charging. All the versions by default equipped with V12 with maximum power up to 3.3 kilowatts. This platform is primarily made as an electric platform. Also, it can work with some hydrogen cells. And the hybrid mode here is a range extensioner mode. It means it's a consequential hybrid, where the internal combustion engine doesn't have any connection with the wheels and cannot transfer the torque to the wheels. In our case, the engine here is CM469NE1. This is a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine which doesn't have even direct gasoline injection, which is actually very good. This is a normal multi-point MPI motor which should have a long-lasting, probably long-lasting design. And it is actually designed for working in some narrow RPM range, especially to be effective in terms of generating power for the battery. The power of this motor is only 70 kilowatts, which is about 98 horsepower. Now we have the question, how much power can it transfer into the electrical power and the current for the battery? There is no answer. Changan Mazda doesn't claim any number on their official website. The manager in this showroom cannot tell it as well, because the manufacturer doesn't mention it anywhere. After 2 hours of surfing among the websites, Changan Mazda websites, forums, and just Google, I haven't found it as well. But from my experience, we have the peak power of 70 kilowatts of the engine power. Probably after all the losses, it can transfer up to 50 kilowatts to the battery in some peak moments, but for long time it could not do that for sure. For a long time, when riding for long distance at about 100-120 kilometers per hour, probably this generator range extensioner will give you about 20 to 25 kilowatts to your battery. Here we came up to the two biggest problem of consequential hybrids. The first problem is the double conversion of the energy. If you don't have energy in your battery, you first have to burn petrol to make it to electricity, and then from electricity you just put it onto your wheels. Not like the BYD or Toyota Prius, for example, hybrids with the eCVT transmission, where the ICE engine can directly spin the wheels. Here that's not possible, and obviously this double conversion is less effective. But the other problem, especially in medium and budget priced cars, is that sometimes your range extensioner, your internal combustion engine generator, may not have enough power to charge your battery and ensure the driving at a proper speed under certain conditions. For example, if you start driving of this car at minus 20 degrees Celsius with a battery with only about 10 to 20% charged, and you want driving like 100 or 130 kilometers per hour on a highway, probably the energy of the ICE will be simply not enough for that, because the energy consumption in that case is more than 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. With the interior heater, it will be even more. And finally, you will have some power loss. The power will be limited, or in some case, I don't know if in this car it's possible or not, the car may even not have enough energy to move, and you will have to stop and wait for some time to charge the battery. I don't know if it's actual for this car, for this Mazda. Nevertheless, in case of this particular car, everything is pretty good, because the battery here is huge. It's 32 kilowatt hours battery, which ensure you up to 200 kilometers on single charge. By WLTC, it's 160 kilometers, and it will be very easy to achieve. 200 kilometers is by CLTC, which is possible as well, but will be a little bit more difficult to achieve, and probably only in good weather. This is the 364 volts actual voltage battery supplied by joint venture CATL with Changan. By the way, the electric version has 78 kilowatt hours and ensures the range by CLTC up to 600, which for me it's a little bit difficult to believe, especially taking into account 2.2 tons of carb weight. EZ-60 Hybrid has 4 trim versions. The basic version starts from 16,800 United States dollars. The top version is about 21,800 United States dollars. This is incredibly priced car, taking into account all the versions has exactly same huge 32 kilowatt hours battery and exactly same ICE motor. The versions are named Air, Air Plus, Pro and Max respectively. The equipment differences in them is really huge. In the basic version, you will not have even the adaptive cruise control. I even don't remember any other car in this market segment without adaptive cruise control for today, but at least the camera's 360 we will have in all the versions. Even this 21-inch wheels has purely amazing design, but actually you cannot add them to any version except the top one, and to add them to the top one you have to add 5,000 RMB. In the other versions you will have 19-inch wheels by default. But probably the most remarkable about this suspension that we have adaptive suspension option in this car for that price. In the top version it is actually by default without any extra charge. In sub-top it is for 5,000 RMB. In first two versions we cannot add it at all. Normally I do not discuss or describe the car's appearance in my video. That all is about personal perception. But this particular car I think is extremely beautiful. First of all, the designers made it look very smooth and much smaller than it is. When you look at it in real life, you would never say it's 4.9 meters long. Secondly, of course, this front end with purely amazing headlights with this huge LED bar which correlates with the Mazda logo shape, and of course this diffuser which is actually real. This inlet goes in here and goes out of here, like in a DTM crazy cars or some cars from sport cars from the 70s. And also I like this angle of the front bumper. It looks like in an old-fashioned train. Thirdly, I purely adore this rear fender. Here we again have the real inlet, real diffuser. If I put my hand here, I can almost see it out of the part which goes out near the rear window. And also this is fully made of plastic, and just look at this curve. It looks like approximately in a Volvo P1800. This rear end negative angle makes the car look like some Jaguars, some even E-Type, and of course it makes the whole silhouette more sporty. I cannot omit underlining this beautiful color which is called Nebula Purple. Generally we have 8 colors and color combinations for this car, which is pretty much and more than most of the competitors in this segment. Except the wheel rims, appearance of all the versions will remain the same. The basic version will not have the adaptive far and near front headlights, but it cannot be distinguished from the appearance. The difference is mostly in the interior, and they start from these door handles. In the top and sub-top versions they will be electrically hidden. In first two versions, not. Also, this multi-layered soundproof glass is only in the pre-top and top versions. The door trim is like that. Here we have plastic, pretty soft. Here we have some PVC probably covering. Here we have the fake leather, same as on the seats, and here we have the normal plastic. In this case, it is top version car. We have the cover of the one of the 23 speakers of the audio system. In the basic version we have 4 speakers. In all other versions we have 8 speakers, but in subtop we can also add this 23 speakers audio system. Here you see the 6-inch of diagonal of the LCD screen of the optional rear view camera system, which costs around 5,000 RMB, but can be added only to the top versions. There is one pretty remarkable thing in the interior. This color scheme, this purple plus gray inserts, is extremely beautiful, is extremely suitable for purple body or, for example, for gray body. But it is completely not suitable for red body or blue body, and this is the only one color scheme which is available in the top version of hybrid car. In other versions we have gray and black interior, which is also cannot be changed to any other. Now we go to the trim and equipment. We start from the steering wheel. This one is covered in Cortex material. In all the versions it's pretty pleasant. Only in the single top version it has the steering wheel heating. The seats in the first 2 versions doesn't have even heating or ventilation. Starting from the third or subtop version, we have seat heating, ventilation and massage. But still we don't have this zero gravity option, which can be added to the subtop car for extra 5,000 RMB. In the top version like this, we have already seat heating, seat ventilation, massage, speakers in the driver's headrest, and of course we have these zero gravity electrical seats, which are extremely comfortable, extremely luxurious and connected with the car multimedia and car massage system. This huge panoramic sunroof with electrically driven sunshade by default in all versions. In the first 2 versions we will not have even the wireless charger for 50 watts with cooling. This is, by the way, the most weak place of the interior in terms of quality and design. It's cracking a little bit, the plastic looks pretty cheap here, but all other parts of design looks very well and actually much higher grade than the price of this car. For example, here we have soft covering, here we have soft covering. This upper part of the panel is very soft plastic. Here we have very beautiful ambient lighting, which is presented only in 2 last versions. And what I'm surprised is that the HUD, which is 50 inches advanced HUD, we have by default in all 4 versions. Probably that's how they wanted to compensate lackness of the gauges. We don't have any instrumental gauges right here, same as in a Tesla, just here or the HUD. Extra attention needs this record breaker in this market segment, touch screen. This is 26.46 inches of diagonal. It's really huge. The quality of the picture is pretty nice, but there are some disadvantages. First of all, the interface is made in this way. The screen, as you see, is really long, but it's not too high. And when we go into any submenu, for example, the drive mode submenu, we have here this pretty stupid window design. Here we have a beautiful car which takes about 40% space. Here we have this panel which takes about maybe 15% space. Here one more panel, and basically the functional part of the window is extremely small. I have to scroll a lot just to find something. In several menus I need to scroll even much more because the menu is bigger. Of course, they should cancel this car from here. They should make this window much bigger, because now I have the feeling of the retarded system. I have the feeling of very bad interface. In other things, it's pretty classical menu. Here we have the APP menu, somewhere here we have the APP menu. Probably this is Android system because we have WeChat. I am not sure, we don't have English system from the box, but I'm sure very soon we will be able to add it. Of course, we have the trip computer menu, which we can actually just cancel from here. And what I want to show you, the biggest problem of this screen is that actually it has 2 problems. The first one, that it's very hot. Now it's not hot inside, the air conditioner working, in the showroom, in the car, and actually it's pretty difficult for me to keep my finger on it. It's maybe about 60 degrees, feels like pretty hot cup of coffee. Sometimes it becomes less hot, sometimes more hot. But the biggest problem here is the AC, for example, AC steering. Yeah, actually this problem can be met in different other parts. The system is lagged, just look at it. Now AC turned off. In BYD I have separate button to turn it on, I have this touch button to turn it on, but here we also have the touch button, and you see what will happen. I have the floated window out nothing turned on, and I want to turn it again. No, 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 no. Wait, sometimes it was turned on from this button. Now it, you see, now it turned on. What is the logic? What is the logic here? I don't understand. Now I want to have this floating window again. Nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. Please let me have my AC menu. Yeah, now I have it. I cannot say it works, everything works like this, but with the AC I have the biggest problem. At the same time, here all the sensors work literally perfectly. Really fast? No. Again, not fast. Again, not good. Yeah, it's like so-so. It's much worse than BYD, which has smaller screen, maybe less functions, but it works much better. Some separate attention to this menu of steering wheel heating, of seat ventilation. Everything has 3 positions, and massage. Massage is extremely good for this price, for this market segment, extremely good. I really like it. Big amount of the regimes, everything is super nice. And of course the passenger has its own part of the screen, half of the screen. He can watch some movies, he can listen to music, which is pretty normal, which is very convenient. The screen is actually in front of him. But what I would really like to show you right now is something special for this particular model, and I like it so much. Here we have the quick control menu. Of course, it's classical quick control menu, which we can adjust, which we can edit. That is all pretty normal. But we have this point in this quick control menu, which is about resting. Here we have modes of resting. In this mode, we have 10 options for the entertaining and resting modes for the interior. One of them is for a dog. Of course, we clearly will understand that this will be AC on and so on. The other is the cinema mode, like this. We can turn it on. In 4 seconds, it will turn on. And we have huge screen, which will show us cinema. The seat will be automatically made in the zero gravity, super convenient position. Extremely nice. And of course, we will have the cinema choice, cinema app, and so on, with possibility to turn on the massage. Let's go out of this menu and see what else we have here. Another one is just resting mode, like this, the first one. In this mode, it will turn after several seconds. We will have all the windows locked. We will have some sounds of raining, some relaxing sound. We will have again zero gravity position, and we will have even the sunroof closed, the sunroof curtain closed, and I will have relaxing massage. It's so nice to be in this car, to be in this interior. Really feel something not automobile. Okay, let's finish this one and let's check at least one more. We even can shift actually the scene, which is here, from the wood to some, I don't know, sea view evening, sunset, to this nature scene and so on. In the pet mode, it will keep the temperature inside of your vehicle 18 degrees. And basically that's all it will do. Now we are in the meditation mode, and basically it's same as the relaxing mode, just with a little bit different sounds and a little bit different wallpaper on the screen. The second row, I'm sitting behind myself, and this car has much less space than, for example, BYD Song L or Song Plus with the same actually size, but still it's very convenient and sufficient. I have pretty much space in front of my knees because of this shape of the front seat. I have plenty of space over my head, and also here is very good equipment. In the sub-top and top version, we have independent AC for the second row with steering right here. We also have the steering of the sunshade, and also we have the seat heating and ventilation for the both seaters of the second row, but only in the top version. And we also have this convenient armrest, which is pretty long, but of course it's basic and rather simple. Electrically driven tailgate only in last 2 versions, and the trunk is extremely good, much better than, for example, in BYD Song L, which I'm currently driving. In this mode, it's about 550 liters. It's square shaped. It's with extremely good finishing, like from a higher grade and more expensive car. We have these hooks for fixing of the cargo. We also can fold the seats. And then we have completely flat floor. If we fold both seats, we will have 2 cubic meters of the volume. The infography you will see right now on your screen, same as in all my videos. Here we have the full floor. Under it we have the subwoofer, and probably in other versions, if we don't have the subwoofer, we will have some niche for some stuff. Here we have the foam for sealant for the tire puncture repair. Here we have the hook for towing. And basically that's all. Really good quality, really nice trunk. Suspension and ground clearance. Here everything is more or less as competitors have. This is the classical McPherson struts with the very thick lower arm with the exchangeable ball bearing. As you see, it's on the balls. And the ground clearance is no problem at all. It's 181 millimeters under the plastic of the chassis protection, actually front subframe protection. This is the lowest part of the chassis. Look at these beautiful letters on this door plastic. Actually, I was mistaken when I said that the ground clearance under front subframe is the smallest. Here under the battery we have about 10 millimeters less. It's 174. This is hybrid. The battery is still huge. It looks like from actually EV car because it is huge, and it is lithium ferrum phosphate battery actually. Here we have the protective screen, which is made from thick steel sheet, I think about 1 millimeter. This looks actually like an aftermarket protection, extra protection for the battery, and it's very good. We have it. In terms of protection of other part of the chassis, it looks just normal. As in this market segment. Under the rear part of the car we have 194 millimeters of ground clearance under the motor protection. Here we have the exhaust system. I'm not sure it's stainless steel as in BYD, but maybe. We have the aluminum levers of suspension, which is pretty not normal in this market segment. Usually they are made of steel. It's the H type levers. Here we have some soft arches lockers. Other things pretty normal, pretty okay. Here actually looks that should be something else, but it's missing. Maybe it's for EV. For EV maybe here is some extra screen. This is our test drive car for today. It's the top version of the range extended Mazda EZ-60. Of course, I'm super curious to check how this car went driving. Now we'll try to make the most powerful available acceleration in the sport mode. Well, to be honest, that acceleration feels about 7 to 8 seconds. And now we may discuss the overall feeling from the car. The ergonomy of the car is very different from what we used to have in classical SUVs such as like BYD, Song L, Song Plus, and so on. The front panel is pretty small, pretty short. All the door panels, the narrowing right here, and the feeling the car gives is more like from a even coupe car, not from an SUV somehow. The other thing which I want to tell you here is that I hear the tires. Despite the sound insulation in this car is pretty good according to numbers. My meter shows about only 60 decibel, same as 60 kilometers per hour as at 80 kilometers per hour, but we really hear the tires. Here the tire pressure is pretty high, but the manager told us it is the tire pressure for 21st inch wheels, which must be here because it's very low profile tires. If we accelerate from the speed like about 60 to 80 in sport mode, the car has pretty sufficient acceleration for overtaking, and I really like the steering here. The steering is very neutral. The steering is very predictable. I feel clearly where my front and rear wheels are. But the problem is that maybe because of the really high pressure, the suspension and the tires give you all the smallest vibration. Even the tarmac texture, it transferred to the car, giving this very high frequency small vibration, which you will never feel in, for example, BYD Song L with high profile tires. The suspension feels not very rough, good handling, but at the same time we cannot call it super soft suspension, definitely not. As we know, here we have the stiffness, adjustable stiffness of the shock absorbers in the top version by default. You cannot control it, it is by default combined with the sport or comfort mode. but still in comfort mode at bumpy roads, it's pretty okay, pretty acceptable. We don't have any view in the rear window, but it is compensated by the streaming rear view mirror, but it's only in the top versions. How to deal in the basic versions, I don't know. This mirror is extremely nice. It even compensates the side mirrors, which is in this car optional camera mirrors, which I personally don't like. I cannot get used to it fast, and for me it's even not safe. But maybe if someone got used to them, maybe they are okay. Of course, they brings a lot for the design. Here at a really bumpy road, I feel pretty much unsuspended massive vibrations on the rear suspension, but on the front suspension I completely don't feel it. Yes, and here, all the car deals pretty loudly with the bumpy road, and even in some parts of the car I hear some noises, probably from the trim panels. What is really good and what I really adore here is the HUD, which is in all versions, even in the basic one. It's really huge, it's really colorful, it gives you a lot of information, including from the navigation and so on. And by the way, this car has the navigation guided autopilot, which approximately correlates with the BYD D-Link D-Pilot 100. For example, like in the Song L, like in our previous video on the channel, we can activate it by the drive selector. And basically it can do many things on the highway. It can change the lane by default, by being guided by navigation, or by using the turn signal, same in the BYD. And it can recognize the traffic light, but it cannot stop because of the red traffic light. This autopilot system, of course, with the blind spot monitoring, with the full speed automatic cruise control, is presented only in 3 versions. In the basic version it's not presented, and now it's a complicated moment. Let's see how the car will deal. No. Yeah. Now we can talk about the energy consumption. It's 20.7 kilowatt hours per 100 in the sport mode, in the test drive mode, and I totally believe in these numbers. It's normal for 2.1 ton car, completely normal. I don't know how some cars show like 17 or 18 kilowatt hours in the same mode. And we have the total fuel consumption on the level of 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is probably also okay for such a big car in the city test driving mode. Now we accelerate in more sport manner. It's a sport mode. Until 40 it's pretty smooth and slow, but after 40, after 50, this car becomes much more faster. I remind that it has 258 horsepower, but from the feeling of acceleration it's not much more powerful than, for example, ID4, which has around 204 horsepower, and which is very familiar car in terms of driving for me. The worst thing is how the suspension deals with the road joints, and also the sound which it gives to the cabin, and also the sound from the tires, and tires sound combined from the bumps and joints. In my opinion, all that is probably because the suspension wasn't tested at the 21st low profile inch tires, and I don't know why. I just feel that with 19-inch tires this car will drive way better. At least handle and the sound control, I think it will be many times better. This car is completely outstanding. For that price, it gives you so vast equipment, which I really cannot believe. We have extremely nice seats with zero gravity option, with nice massage, with ventilation, with heating, with steering wheel heating, with heating and ventilation, and independent air conditioner for the rear seaters. I simply cannot believe in that. We have interactive modes for resting, for meditation, for dogs, etc., which is not common in this market segment and in this price. More of that, we have the panoramic sunroof with electric curtain. We have adaptive suspension. We have 32 kilowatt hours battery. We have huge HUD and huge touchscreen. I literally cannot believe all that costs like $22,000 about that. But there are some, of course, disadvantages. First of all, the handling of the car and its behavior on the road. I personally don't like it. The acceleration is just moderate without any character. We cannot say it's too slow, but it's really characterless. The suspension work is not good. It's worse than, for example, BYD cars of the same price, but I am pretty sure it's because this 21st inch wheels. I think the car was tested and the car was designed for 19-inch wheels. I'm pretty sure on 19-inch wheels, half of the problem will disappear. The main problem that on the joints the suspension works very tough. The other problem that the sound from the tires, from this, actually the pressure here was also pretty high. The sound on the joints, the sound of the riding is not nice. At the same time, the sound insulation of the car is extremely good. The glasses, the doors have good sound insulation. And the latest problem, which is actually not the biggest for me, is the multimedia and touchscreen. The interface design is not good. The speed of working is not good as well, worse than most of the competitors, but still it's working. Anyway, we can send out this car from China to any country of the world. Just contact me, all the contact information below this video. Subscribe, push the like button, share this video if you like it, and of course, leave the comment. My name is Denis, I really love cars, and see you at my next video.